This meeting is being recorded.
So we're joined from the Mississippi Department of Corrections by the Deputy Commissioner of Finance and Administration with the Mississippi Department of Corrections, my man, Derrick Garner, graduate of Madison Central High School, Mississippi College, and Holmes Community College. We thank you so much for joining us today. We're in the Law and Public Safety Career Cluster. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson. We're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, our alma mater, Madison Central High School, Rosa Scott, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So thank you once again for taking some time for us today.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you having me, as always.
Now, we obviously want to talk about all the things that you deal with when it comes to the administrative side of everything at MDOC. But just give us a little background. You were in the very famous class of 1998 at Madison Central. We both played for the legendary coach Mike Justice there at Madison Central. And I've got some athletes with me here. We got some athletes that are going to see this. You parlayed your football talent into getting a free college education. You did not say, "Hey, I'm going to the NFL. I don't have to do anything." You used it to get a a great degree from Mississippi College and turned it into a great career.
Oh, without a doubt. That's one of the key things we always discuss at Madison Central. And when we was coming up, what we're going to be after high school. And I always knew from high school, we had one of the amazing teachers, Mr. Owens, that talks us about academics and education and finance that always had grew towards me. So I knew from day one when I left high school, I was going to be accounting and a CPA. So I parlayed that from 2 years free at Holmes Community College. I lit up like a Christmas tree, and I was like, I'll take it. It's free money. And I took that road, end up at Mississippi College. Has been an amazing journey. And all the way here to this day, I've been a special investigator for the state auditor's office. I've been in so many different levels that the accounting world took me to, which is an amazing world to be in.
Yeah, and just real briefly, we have several athletes that are here with me now. Some will see this later, and I hear so many kids say they have the dream of playing sports on the next level, and we encourage all of them to attempt to do so. But even just the jump from high school to junior college, and then junior college even to the D2 level, and even higher on the D1 level, the level of commitment for an athlete on that level is exponentially higher than it is for a high school athlete. When you get to the next level, everybody's a dog. When you get to the next level, you can't miss practice. When you were at Mississippi College, y'all had a game in Texas. Y'all got to take that long bus ride back. You still had to study for tests, and
Right.
you couldn't skip class. At Holmes, y'all are playing on Thursday night. If you have a game at Oklahoma or at Mississippi Gulf Coast, you got to get on that bus, and you still got to take care of business. So talk about the level of commitment for a college athlete compared to a high school athlete.
And this one thing I always try to tell college athletes in general, both is one of the same. If you're chasing high aspiration to be a high level athlete in any field, you should be a high level thinker and a high level educated person too to get there. So both of them is one and the same. The commitment for one and the commitment for the other go hand in hand. So when it comes to football, if you're studying film, if you don't understand the IQ level of a high level NFL football player, of what the little, if he's leaning one way, he's going that way. When you're watching film or a third down, the tendencies are running that percentage of play on third down over and over. Those are high level thinking things. It's just not going out there and playing the game. Those both things correlates between the classroom and the field. So if your field knowledge is not high, 9 times out of 10, your classroom IQ level is not high, and you're not committing both. So once you start committing both, you will rise up high level in any field and anything you choose. So most of them think it's one aspect of it, but in the reality of it, if you wanted to excel on a high level anything, it's going to be both sides of it. So I tell athletes all the time, once you commit to yourself first, commit to your expertise of what you're trying to accomplish in your life. If you're going to be a tech guy, be a tech at a high level. But you're also going to be a tech guy on a high level on the football field, because now you know how to use technology to get you there to do things even better. So all those things really and true go hand in hand. I think that's where we missed the boat on teaching the young athletes, like, hey, commit to all of it. And if you want to be great.
Yeah, and colleges are not going to waste thousands of dollars on a scholarship for somebody that's not fully committed. That's just a reality of it. And that's for any sport, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, any of that.
On any level at that. That goes from Holmes Community College to D2, D3. The expectation is the same, is to win on every level. I think we we get our mind that going to homes is a lesser. Trust me,
No way.
I played with some NFL players in my 2 years at Holmes Community College, and they were some great athletes. And guess what? They was great in the classroom too.
Yeah, and then just now, just real quick at Holmes Community College, their head coach for football, I can't remember his name. He was the assistant coach at East Mississippi that won the national championship. So he's not coming over there to screw around. So, I encourage everybody, you want to play on the next level, look at these community colleges in Mississippi. Now, you did get into accounting. You worked with several government agencies. You've been with the state auditor's office. You've been with the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, and you've always been the business and numbers guy. And I think that's important because these state governments, these law enforcement agencies, they are audited. They have a budget. They have to have people to handle things. You've got to be the one that says, "Hey, we have the money to get this. We have the money to not do this. We have the money to build this." So, talk about some of the financial things that we see. With the Department of Corrections now, we see the buildings, we see the barbed wire, we see the people with the guns on the towers. But there's a lot of behind the scenes work that takes a lot of skill as well.
So this is one of the most I say we run small cities. If you can see it in this world, we run it. So one of the key things, like we said, people drives your organization. So that's the capital, the working capital that we solicit to. Like we have great working opportunities here, like on every level. If you aspiration to be a criminal justice major, you can come in and learn all about criminal justice. If you wanted to come in to be a maintenance person that does all the plumbing and want to go to plumbing school, we have all types of things that we have to, as an administration here at Central Office, push out from case managers. Like a lot of people know about case managers type things. And the bread and butter is my world, the accounting world that ties to everything when it comes to money. Everything has a root cause, and it always ties back to money, to where we try to accomplish amazing things through what legislative funded us for. We try to care about the mission of the custody and care control.
Absolutely. And something that you've also had a huge hand in this new role is you sit in a lot of interviews. A lot of job applications come to you for a multitude of positions, whether it's you know e- everything from the front line uh, guards all the way up to administration. And you tell me all the time, you would be amazed at the amount of people that cost themselves a job because they can't proofread a resume, they can't show up for an interview right, and then they get in front of you and they don't even know how to answer the questions. So, as somebody that's been the person that's hiring, what are some of these mistakes you're seeing that you told me sometimes and I couldn't even believe it myself?
Man, a lot of these mistakes this day and age, as you see right now, I'm in a tie. Um,
Yeah.
those little things matter. As you know, back in high school, we created Manhood Fridays where we played on Friday. We wore a suit and tie every Friday to look professional because as a JAG, we was going to handle business and we wanted to make sure everybody knew that's the way we dressed. And so when people come in, we just had one recently like, hey, like, what job are you dressing for? Like, remember what job you're dressing for. Are you dressing for the job you want later in life? Not the day. What are your aspirations or where you're heading to? So the appearance is everything. The next one, just being prepared and being on time. Don't be 30 minutes late. Don't be 10 minutes late. Be there early where you put pressure on the people to be prepared for you. And that's one of the things, like, I'm always like, man, something they here already at 10 minutes early. But guess what? The pressure is on you now. Now you have to be prepared. You said you scheduled at 9 o'clock. So those type of things that employers take highly look at. And also, like I said, appearance, being prepared, knowing, doing the homework on the agency. As young guys like yourself and young ladies coming out into the workforce in another year or two, if you're a senior, you come in the workforce now at 18. And so you have to be prepared for what you're trying to do and do your homework on any company, any
Big time.
agency, any person. You're going to do your homework, because the more you know about that agency or company, they know you are intrigued about them also. Now, then you sell yourself, be highly on yourself, and speak highly to your goals and aspirations.
Yeah, and something we do in this class is we look a lot at the job descriptions. Knowing what's in the job description is a big deal. So that way you're not wasting people's time asking about a job. And I'll tell you something else, as somebody that was in a similar situation, and if I had not seen this myself, I wouldn't have believed it. When I was at LSU, we had a woman that had applied for one of our jobs. She comes in, looked really nice, she got there in plenty of time, and she said, "Hi, I'm here for the interview." And we had a couple open positions. I wasn't sure which one. And I said, "Okay, that's great. Who are you interviewing with?" And she looked me right in the face and said, "I don't know. Let me go look in the car." And it's little things like that. And then and a cool thing about the Department of Corrections, I know you guys love moving up from within.
Yes.
Like most state agencies. But if you're 21 years old and you're coming in even as a correctional officer, you learn the industry and you're professional. You show that you can deal with people and follow procedures. There are story after story about people in similar agencies and agencies like the Department of Corrections that have worked their way up into administration, and a lot of them never even had a college degree, but they were professional. They learned how to talk to people. They learned how to de-escalate situations, and they learned from people like yourself. And they didn't have to take out student loans to go get a degree. They just learned the industry.
All right. And one of the key aspects, like I said, right now at 18 years old, you can come work for us and make 40,000 a year. And
Wow.
with overtime, you're close to 60 or 70 if you're willing to come in and grind and work. So that's fresh out of school and with the opportunity to work a night shift and still go back and get a degree. And you're making that type
Wow.
of money right out of high school. So the opportunities this day and age is there for anybody that are looking for a path for a better life, better education, and better money on their own. So like I say, you come here, work a 12-hour shift at night and go to school for take 3 or 4 classes and look
Wow.
both ways. So it's amazing opportunities.
Yeah, and I think something that's misunderstood, and there's so much negative media. And a lot of us saw the documentary about Parchman, which I know you spent a lot of time there working with them, trying, looking at their budgetary needs. Because look, at the end of the day, I think most of us can agree that when it comes to people that are incarcerated, there needs to be humane treatment. There needs to be some type of way for them to learn a skill, not reoffend. And I'm a big believer. And I don't offer a whole lot of opinions on here, but I'm a big believer in that once you serve your debt to society, you deserve a right to find a way to work and find a way to change the things you did, no matter what it was. Now, obviously, some people don't get out, and that's a whole nother conversation. But what are some of the misconceptions? Because let's face it, law enforcement in general, corrections are gonna have negative stereotypes from the media. But it really can do so much good for society to have people that are skilled to get in there and really work to make the system better.
And you're 100%, and that's the narrative. Is like one of the things I know. I've been here 5 years. We recreated the wheel of how you treat people, and we want to treat everybody the same. Like no matter what you did your crime. We're here to the house. You take care. You make sure you get your medical needs, get all your food needs, get everything that we have to control and give to you. Then also give you the skill set to get to better your life, either inside the city or outside the city. That's come with counseling. That comes with thinking for a change type of things we give to allow them to learn and understand themselves even more. So we don't just lock you up, throw away the key. It's the old perception that people think like what's supposed to happen. But at the end of the day, some of these people, like a lot of them, over 80%, is probably going to get out and be amongst the citizen again. So the recidivism of them understanding, getting the skills and trades for jobs is one of the key aspirations that we have when we're driving for to make sure when you leave here, you have a skill set to get a job. You have a skill set to feed your family where you don't look back to whatever brought you here. You're not looking for it again.
Yeah, and you mentioned something too about the medical needs and the mental health needs. The MDOC is a great place to volunteer for people that want to be dentists to get some experience, people that want to be nurses to get some experience, people to get some hours in counseling. I can promise you, the people that oversee that would love to have some people come volunteer once they turn 18. Obviously, while you're in school, if you want to, that will look great on your resume for anyone to show that you served the state of Mississippi and served the incarcerated individuals. Not only better them, but better yourself because you are donating your time in order to better your skills. So I think that would be an unbelievable resume builder, and there's just always a need for that in the Department of Corrections.
Yes, and then that's one of the key things. Like we just met about it on the other day about trying to create an internship program for criminal justice major and things like that, where you could come in and get that type of thing on your resume. Where you this is a learned skill set. Like we want to give people opportunity to come live it, come see it for yourself, and hopefully join on once you graduate. You stay with us.
Now, I do have some questions from him, but something else I want to talk about. I know we kind of focus on the government side and how there's always a need for the behind the scenes business people, but we may have some kids to say, "Look, I would love to get into finance. I'd love to get into accounting, but I don't want to work in a dang prison." There's always going to be a need for finance people in every field. You have accountants at the hospital. You have accountants at hotels. We have bookkeepers in our building here in these schools. So, obviously, some people say, look, the corrections ain't for me. That's fine. But there's always going to be a need for people to get these and go into these accounting fields and these finance fields because what people don't understand, the last people laid off are the ones in charge of the money. So, why could finance in itself be a great field to get into, even if you're not on the government side?
Man, finance is the beginning to all things. If you're gonna run a business, you're gonna need to know about finance. If you want to be an entrepreneur one day, you're gonna have to know about accounting, how to run your books, or you're gonna have to know about taxes. You're gonna have to know about every aspect of your money. If you just want to be an entrepreneur, which is a great thing to be, but do you trust somebody else with your money, or do you want to know about your own money? So that was one of the key things I tell about. Then you have, like I said, the field of accounting is so massive that people don't realize it. Is you go from auditing to taxes to CFOs type jobs. The aspirations is far and near. Like I said, even used to go back to the entrepreneur side of it. Hey, you can get a CPA and you run your own operation and it makes millions of dollars. Like the money is there in this state. So we don't tie it to just the state job. This is a public servant job. I've been called for what I do. I know I have, and that's why I'm here. Like I tell people all the time, I can go the role that I right now serve, managing a $500 million budget, and I take that out into the public entities. It derives more funding. But I call to serve, and I'm going to serve. And like I said, I love doing these type of things and go to colleges and everything and speak to kids like, hey, there's opportunities in an accounting world that you want. So if you're going to say, I'm going to get a business degree, get your accounting degree. It runs everything.
Or at least an accounting minor to have those accounting skills
Yes.
to get your foot in the door. And for the most part, now obviously there's varieties, but for the most part, most finance jobs are 9 to 5. So if you want you want that steady schedule, the Federal Reserve ain't gonna be operating in the middle of the night. So it really is. It can be a great field. Well, I do have some questions here, and I like this first one. This is Cortez Maxwell. He's in 11th grade, and he asked, "What message would you give someone if they wanted to be a great student and a great athlete?"
Well, the one message I give you is the message I live by. Nobody had to make me do what I do, ever. Nobody had to make me go study. Nobody made me go to the weight room. Nobody made me go to watch film. Those things was built within me for the hunger I have within myself. So you have to ask yourself, what will you do to be great within you? So if you want to be great, like I said, it comes from within. Nobody else control that but you. So if you want to be all those things, ask yourself, look yourself in the mirror, write it down. One of my key things, I always write it down. I have things all over my desk that I read every day. Like I said, I have my inspiration morning manifestation. And then one of the key things I can say right now, I walk in a divine wisdom and favor. Everything I touch prosper because God have faith on my life. So I speak those things within the life that I want. You speak the things you want, you manifest your life, and you go forth from in. So if you want it, go get it.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention that we mentioned how we were on the same high school program. Those guys that you graduated with, you guys were incredible football players. I think y'all only lost 6 games ever in 3 years, but you guys were not only great players and great leaders on the field. You guys were excellent students, and all those teachers that came through that will echo that. Jermaine McDonald, Nathan Reeves, Anthony Ephraim, so many of those guys were fantastic football players. But at the end of the day, the teachers are like, those guys are great students too, and all of y'all have become successful. And that's what I really want these athletes to understand is it's not lame to be smart. And to somebody that played college sports, when it's down to 2 people they got one scholarship left and there's 2 people left, the best student's going to get it every time.
Every time because they can count on them.
Big time. I like this one. This is Jeremiah Williamson. He's in 9th grade, one of our football players. They're playing a big playoff game tomorrow at Northside High up in the Delta. And he asked, was it hard to maintain your studies and be great football player while you were in college?
No, it was the easiest thing ever. You know why? Because they gave us study hall, and I didn't have to go to study hall. Let me remind you something. I had a 3.5, so I did not have to go to study hall. But it gave me a space to go where I got teacher help, everything in there. Athletes, you get to help. If you want help and you're struggling, you just have to
Oh,
ask. You have to
especially now.
show up for yourself and ask. So I had a 3.5, and we had study hall twice a week, and I was in study hall twice a week because I had an hour and a half of quiet time and help. So the sports side of it, they make avenues for you too to make sure you get your study in and make sure you can excel at a high level.
Yeah, and now especially these larger schools, they have so many stuff for athletes. It's just unbelievable. And and even places like Mississippi College and Holmes Community College, they have free mental health services. They have free academic advisors, and that is available to you all the time. So there are no more excuses. I agree 100%. Now, and the funny, and they've heard me tell this one too. Another funny story about that. Our friend Chandra Price, when we were at Southern Miss. She was a tennis player, but we had this other friend that played football, Marvin Young, and I'll never forget this. They played UAB on ESPN in Birmingham on a Thursday night. They got back, and Marvin took a punt to the house in that game, and they had a weather delay and everything. They get back to Hattiesburg at 2 a.m. It's 8:30 the next morning, and he's walking across campus, and I'm like, dude, and he goes, man, I got a test, I couldn't miss it. So these professors don't care what you did the night before. They have a job to do, and they're going to hold their academic standard.
Right, and that's life.
Yeah, big time. I got one more. This is Landria Wilder. She's a senior, our student council president here at Velma Jackson. Wants to be a nurse and go to the W. Also, one of our volleyball players. She asked, "Have you ever seen a significant change in someone from when you first hire them and then they start working for you?"
Yes, 100%. So I'm a little, I'm in that age group where I love youth. So I hire young people knowing they don't have experience, but they came
Yeah.
in with a little hunger and they wanted to learn. And so me and some of my colleagues, we differ on that aspect of it. I like youth, I like innovation, and I like to be challenged. One
Yeah.
thing about y'all generation, y'all want to be led and y'all want to know and y'all want to know today. And I love it. So you always have to be prepared. And around me, it's just me. I expect high expectations of everybody of their capability. So if you work for me and my staff, we expect your best and we know where you're ceiling at and we're going to push you above your ceiling. And some people that makes them uncomfortable and they leave, the greats stay and they become greater.
Yeah, and that's what I try to explain to people. Even if you know you're not going to be somewhere forever, use that to build your resume.
Mhm.
Someone like you would be an incredible reference for somebody that just said, "Hey, they just wanted to be here for a few years to get some experience, but they did an incredible job for us." There is no way in the world you're going to keep somebody from moving on somewhere if they do a good job for you when
I
they are
tell
there.
most, I tell most of my staff, if you stay here 3 to 4 years and not have been, you should always be looking for other opportunities because we know our structure works of
Yeah.
training, producing high level people that people are come get. We know that. So we redefine our training plans over and over and we give opportunities to excel or move out. And we okay. Like I said, I give people high praises all the time. Like, man, you're still one of my best, but hey, don't we'll give you opportunity to take another one here in another 3 years.
Awesome. And now we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for joining us. But a couple things before we go. First of all, if kids are interested in applying for jobs with the Department of Corrections, once they graduate, tell them how they can apply for that because you guys are just hiring all types of positions all over the state.
Go to our website, MDOC.com, and it'll show you all the jobs we have out there for you, all the benefits packages and everything else. Like I said, you got my number. If you know somebody's looking for opportunity, pass along. Mr. Greg can share my email address and phone number. I'm happy to take calls, and we'll get you connected to the right people.
Absolutely. Now, the last thing before we go, and I know uh, we both kind of joke about maybe we're getting old and out of touch. Maybe we just don't understand things. But you are literally a person that has walked the halls of every single correctional institution in the state. You see people every day that are going to be locked up for the rest of their lives because they made a horrible mistake that's cost them their freedom. And I just lose my mind. And I know me and you both know plenty of people that have it seems like they couldn't get locked up fast enough. It's like they were racing to get there. And I will never understand the appeal of being a convict. So, as somebody that has seen people go from flashing the stuff on TikTok to now being locked up for the rest of their life, what is there any appeal about being a guest of the state of Mississippi?
There is no price to freedom. When you didn't, when your meals and everything else has to be controlled by somebody else, there's no fun about that. When you have to sleep in a room with thousands of people, there's no fun to that. Like, enjoy the life of freedom that it gives you and cherish it. Don't let one mistake in you here, and don't let one friend in you here. So a lot of these people end up here because their friends say, hey, come, let's do this with me. Be able to say no and stand up for yourself, and do not put yourself in a position, because this is not a place. Like I said, this is not a place anybody say, hey, this is the best world ever. Don't be following all these movie stars, TikToks, and all these things that they're giving you the perception this is the best thing ever. It's a badge of honor. It's not a badge of honor. Freedom is priceless. Enjoy it.
Yeah, and there's never been a better time to make something of your life. Me and you would agree. We both went to Madison Central. We went to Madison County Schools. Grateful for that. But the opportunities that this district is affording students now did not exist when we were coming up.
No.
We never got free ACTs. We never had ACT prep classes. We never got to take it during school. We had to play a football game in the Delta and then get up at the butt crack of dawn and go to Belhaven. And we never had people talk about these opportunities. So it really, I just encourage all of our students to hear, the ones who hear me now, the ones that see this later, there's never been a better time to make something out of your life.
Exactly.
Well, I know you got to get back to work. We thank you so much for fitting us in your schedule. My man, Sleepy himself, the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Corrections of the state of Mississippi, Derrick Garner, thank you so much for joining us today.
Appreciate you, Greg. Y'all have an amazing day.
I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Later.